Wake up! I need you to be focused.
Don't let anyone tell you that shit.
I sound like a massive prick.
So if you get made fun of, you get made fun of. Who cares?
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Speed, passion, attitude, reliability, knowledge. Welcome to Lobow's Spark, the power of ADHD.
Who is this person who speaks to me as though I needed his advice?
Yes, last night he's swimming in Jack Daniels, and now he can leap tall buildings in a single bound.
This person would be your host, and yours truly, Lobow.
What is your profession?
This episode is different. It is one where I am face to face in real life with one of my best friends and also a former employee. We talk about everything from the Adderall shortage to how proud of him I am. Mark, you have made a hell of a life for yourself. That is a big fucking deal. Here is a candid, honest, and open conversation between Mark and Lobow. We're sitting here drinking beers. We're having a good time. We're all good. I feel like I may have been a mentor to him, maybe a bad mentor. Was I a good mentor or a bad mentor?
Changed my life. We'll say that.
Changed
my life.
Okay, that works. But we're just hanging out in the middle of the country with a video board in the background. But we are still going to talk about Mark's journey with ADHD. So I ask one question and one question only. It's not an easy question. Mark, what is your ADHD story? You are free to tell this however the fuck you want to tell it. The good things, the bad things, everything in between.
So yeah, ADHD is the best and worst things that ever happened to me. It definitely started out very unmedicated in high school, and it was always kind of a joke. You can't focus on anything for like 2 seconds, which made sense. And then once I got to college, really realized that high school is like a cakewalk.
So like, did you do well in high school?
Well, it was very structured.
Gotcha. So you might be one of those ADHD people that needs structure but hates it.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah,
right,
sure.
Exactly.
It was very repetitive, and it was the same time every day since I was in kindergarten. So I was able to get through it. I sucked at homework. And they're like, oh, he's not somebody that tests well.
No, I got that same fucking shit.
But yeah, I got through it. I never applied to a big university. I graduated from one eventually, but all my classmates were, you gotta get over 4.0, which I didn't even know was possible.
How is that possible?
AP classes. So you
can get like a 4.2 or a 4.
Yes. So the major, yeah. So where I graduated from, you couldn't get into.
Hey, Espen. This is Espen, everybody.
So I lost my train of thought.
That's exactly why we're doing this.
I just hit 30. It hadn't kicked in yet. I can't focus. I get it.
I love it. So high school, we were talking about GPAs.
So the university I eventually graduated from it was kind of, if you had below a 4.0, you had to do really good on essay, SAT, or what was the other one?
ACT?
ACT.
I got a 9. A 9.
I did better on my ACT than my SAT. If that means anything at all. But
it doesn't mean shit.
But so all my friends were stressing out about applying to colleges, universities, all that.
Yeah.
I just woke up one Sunday morning and I went online and went to the school's website, put in my information, hit submit, and it was dial-up, so it took a little bit, but finally came up and said, congratulations, you've been accepted. I was like, sweet, I got into college. So
literally, that's
it literally
like
Really?
It loaded.
I don't
like,
think you haven't told me that before.
I haven't?
No.
Oh.
I didn't know that's how you.
So I was like, cool. I got to college, and so I went and told my friends, like, oh, I'm in. Like,
So when did you realize like that this could be a problem? I guess.
it wasn't. I just kind of figured out during high school, it was just like school sucked. And it just kind of. I get that. I was on work release, like, so my junior and senior year, I was out at like noon every day. I hated school. I didn't want anything to do with school.
Yeah.
I thrive a lot better on building stuff. I was always doing a million projects. Hindsight, might mean something, but so I was always. I built a twin-engine go-kart in high school. I was doing this and that. And so now when the work released, so yeah, I got out of school as quick as I could. I didn't enjoy it because it was almost too structured.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like the structure of it is.
Which I loved and I hated. I needed it.
Yeah.
But I really didn't like it, especially unmedicated.
Yeah.
Was really a struggle for me. I thought I'd do well in classes, but then I didn't do great on the tests. So my GPA wasn't, like, I figured math, for some reason, I was really, really good at, but I hated.
Okay, so that's interesting because half the people I speak with are great at math and hate it, and half the people suck at math and love it and end up going into math after they get done with the classes because it's dictated to them how they do it.
Which I haven't done, like, so that's, I probably would do really well in a mathematics environment had I been medicated earlier, because it's just like, then I was really, really good at it, but at the same time, it's like, I didn't want to do it the rest of my life. So I went into college. When I went to college, I was mechanical engineering. So
That's right. You have told me that before. It was
so
mechanical engineering.
yes, so I was mechanical engineering. I actually had an offer when I was in high school. I actually had 2 offers my senior year, so I was really big into wakeboarding. So I would wakeboard. In the summer times, I would wake up at 6 a.m. As the sun's coming up, we'd be idling out of the cove, filling up ballast in the boat. We'd wakeboard for about 45 minutes, and then our friends would be waking up from being hungover or whatever the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Because me and him didn't drink at all in high school. Making up for it now, but
we're different in that regard. But
yeah. So I was saying, we were like, all right, well, we would make money, and then we actually just dump it right in the gas tank of the damn boat. But
you were able to wakeboard.
So I got really good at that. But also, I destroyed my entire body doing it. My lower back is shot. My knees are shot.
From wakeboarding?
Yeah, my knees in high school used to dislocate themselves like 3 or 4 times a week.
I did not know that either.
So,
but just to let y'all know, when he says he likes to wakeboard, he's one of those people that does the flips and everything like that. The guy's a straight up badass at wakeboarding, but
it used to be.
It used to be, yeah, exactly.
So I was getting really, really, really good. That's the tangent we were off on.
Yeah.
Is
we're gonna
when I was graduating high school. So basically, I did a shit ton of wakeboarding in high school. We lived on a lake. I wakeboarded twice a day, every day. For basically 9 months out of the year, I would wakeboard twice a day, every day. And I went through. Advil should be my sponsor because I went through. I went through actually 4 doctors. No lie, I went through 4 doctors in high school, and because my knees would literally dislocate themselves multiple times a week.
Like they would catch land.
So if I was down tying my shoe,
how does that work?
If I was down tying my shoe, if I didn't think about standing up, they would pop out of place, and I just basically fall to the ground and had to like twist and pull on my leg to extend it.
Fuck that.
And it would pop back into place.
Fuck that.
My 4th doctor finally said, here's some anti-inflammatories. I know you're not going to stop wakeboarding. At least do this. Take these before you go out wakeboarding so you don't destroy yourself.
Yeah.
So he actually got me there. He didn't get me on the ADHD part, but
Right.
But basically, so with all that, so when I was in my senior year of high school, I got 2 offers. I got one, so I got one of the, it was either Hyperlight or Liquid Force, basically was saying, we want you to go semi-pro with us, because I was, I could do all the flips.
Awesome.
I could do all the
Yeah.
I got really, really good at wakeboarding. Besides pointing, but I knew that it was to strong my body, and I had like 2 years left in me before I had torn meniscus, I hadn't torn my ACL yet.
This is all from wakeboarding?
Yeah, I had 2 torn meniscuses on wakeboarding. So
you fucked your body bad.
Yeah, my knees are shot.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I hate my knees.
You've said that forever. I do remember that.
So I knew that wasn't going to be a thing. And then I knew somebody that worked at Nautique. It was a family friend that said, you get me, if you graduate from this particular university with a mechanical engineering degree, I'll give you a 6-figure job starting.
Okay.
And so naturally, I was like, I like building shit and I love wakeboarding. And they're like, yeah, our day consists, our week consists of 2 days in the office designing stuff and 3 days testing. I was like, done. I was like, I can do that. And then I was like,
right up your alley.
So I went through my first year building towards that, all my core classes. So I knew the reason I applied to the university off the bat was, one, I had the GPA, 2,
right.
My diploma was exactly the same as somebody.
Gotcha.
So I do. It's basically you do that 2 years and you transfer in.
Got it.
To the university, and your diploma looks the exact same.
Right.
So I wanted the easier route.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So I did all my core classes at the community college. Even my first year, it was a big struggle. Especially, it was a break from my normal schedule.
Right. Someone told me, and I don't know if you relate to this or not, but college is difficult for people with ADHD because you go from that structure to all of a sudden you have to create your own structure with absolutely no idea how to fucking do it. And that's because you're not taught that, right? Like, you're not taught how to create a structure for yourself that'll work.
And online classes, don't do online classes if you're ADHD. I know.
Well, they work for some.
There's a pandemic, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah, oh God, will we ever?
Which is a big thing for kids growing up now. I know is a big issue, but yeah, my thought is having that structure. With unmedicated, I was able to do.
Right.
But once I struggled really bad during in community college, and then I was like, everybody's always said, "Oh, you're really ADHD." They always joked about it. Yeah, they always joked about it. In high school, I'm like, I really think I am. And then I met Lobow, and he was even way more ADHD than me.
Thank you.
I need to get him a shirt, by the way.
I love that
I know,
shirt.
it's lighting up really nice. So he was, he was really, like, I'd met him when he was kind of not on his medication a lot, and he was just kind of all over the place.
No, I was on the medication. It was that it wasn't a high enough dose.
But then I'd also see, because he lived in the apartment underneath me, so sometimes I'd meet him and he'd just be all over the place, and sometimes I'd meet him and he'd be able to, like, have a straight conversation with me, and we would just have a conversation. So when I found out he was really, he's like, all right, well, I'm kind of all over the place. How do you actually have a conversation? And he's like, well, I'm medicated. I'm like, all right, well, let me talk to my doctor and see, is this something I have? I'm not going to self-diagnose.
Right.
I'm not gonna have somebody else diagnose me, but I'm going to let me talk to my doctor. And at first, they put me on. First, they had me go see a psychiatrist.
Well, right, because psychiatrists can prescribe medication where psychologists can't. So if you go to a psychologist, they might be able to say, okay, I think you might have this, but they have to refer you to a psychiatrist because
Was it different?
Yeah, it was way different.
Oh.
And so
I'm
psychiatrists,
on one of the two.
Yeah.
Gave me, but they didn't want to put me on anything strong. They put me on Strattera. So it is a non-narcotic.
It's a non-stimulant, right?
Non-stimulant.
Yeah.
Which helped, but I had to be a very strict schedule. I did it for like 2 months. The breaking point for me was like I had to take it after food, but shortly after food. I accidentally took it before food, and I got really tired and I got knocked out. I almost overslept the test, and I felt like absolute garbage. And I was like, all right, it had to be real, like for me at least, had to be a super strict schedule. I went and flushed all mine down the drain.
Did you really do that?
Oh, I seriously, I flushed like
I
in
didn't
the
know
toilet.
that either.
I flushed it, and I actually went to a new doctor. Told him my story. He's like, you shouldn't have been on. He's like, having a conversation with you, you should not have been on that non-stimulant. You need to be on a stimulant. And he's like, there's these, you could either go, your Adderall or your
Ritalin.
And I was like, I've heard horror stories about Ritalin. So, but
Ritalin never worked for me.
And I've also heard that Ritalin's worked really well.
Yeah, no, it has. But for me, like it wasn't. But I'm lucky, so lucky in the fact that I got diagnosed at like 5. So I had all this time to get this right, and that's what ultimately mattered the most, is being like, hey, okay, this didn't work, I'm trying this. This didn't work, I'm trying this. This didn't work, whatever. But so many people don't get that opportunity because the whole world shits on them for being hyper.
Yes.
And it's just not the case. Like, by the way, this is nothing different than Mark and I would be doing like on a random night. It's just that.
Well, he likes to show up like Wednesdays, and we'll just he'll get off work and he's just like, he'll pick up wood here or whatever, and we'll get randomly hammered on a Wednesday, and also college buddies randomly show up the same day.
Yeah, exactly.
When country was
so,
here.
It's funny though, because like you liked wakeboarding, so you went at it so hard that you busted your knees and your back and everything. But that's what ADHD does. We cannot go at something half-assed. If we like it, it is 1 billion% what we're going to do.
Yep.
Like no matter what effect it has.
Oh yeah.
That's so stereotypical.
There's somebody that was better than me. I was like, I just gotta do it more, and then
right.
I had to be better than them.
Right.
So I gotta one up them. But he was saying, he's like, all right, well, let me get you on stimulant, and that changed my world. It changed everything. I was able to.
That's awesome.
It only took 3 or 4 months to level out my dosage.
Really? So you've had the same dosage for?
I'm a little higher now.
Right.
But when I started, he only gave me 1 month prescription. He said, do this.
Try it and see. Yeah.
Do this. I think he had me on 30 milligrams a day. So he had me on 10s. I think I was doing like 10 milligrams in the morning.
Right.
And then I did a lot of microdoses almost.
Right.
But
exactly.
And then it ended up leveling out at 40 a day.
Gotcha.
So basically 10 milligrams a day.
Okay.
I'd normally start off with like a 20 in the morning, and then just do half pills to get me through the day. My grades shot up. I was I was able to get shit done. And it was
Like start to finish done, like as in you start a project and then you finish it.
Yes. I have bigger projects now.
Well, yeah,
done.
that's it. But
We'll
that's
get to that later on.
yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, so it was just like a wow, because I was still trying to wrap my head around, like, I actually am ADHD, and it's like, why was I not diagnosed with it earlier? Because up in the Bible Belt in Georgia, it was an issue.
Right. See, and that's the problem. That is why we're doing this right now. It's because that is what everyone has told me.
Yeah.
Why didn't someone tell me earlier? Why
Because-
didn't someone point it out?
Because growing up, that was you'd be labeled as someone with an issue,
Right.
And it can it was like a bad thing. I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's I would have done. Shoot, I probably would have had that nerd GPA.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was really good at it, but I just didn't really have the patience or attention span to really dial in on it.
Right. And sometimes you need medication, and that's not a problem. Like, goddamn, if you break your leg, do you put a cast on it? Like, is that okay?
No, you're
like,
supposed to just limp on it.
right, and just make it.
Yes.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. Sorry, I get really passionate about this because I've been told to my whole life. Life, how dumb I am, and I am not dumb. And that is, yeah, exactly. So
that's the thing. It was confusing at first because it was a huge sigh of relief, but it was just like, why did it take this long to get medicated and to get this issue fixed? Well, I would say issue, more condition.
Right.
It's why, I wanted, now that I was told my entire life, you're like ADHD as hell, but never actually got it addressed.
Right.
And then once I finally got that addressed, and it was great.
So ADHD, the issue with it is your brain knows what to do, but it can't do it. Everyone else's brain, there is a connection between these two things. You know what to do, and you do it. ADHD doesn't have that. How do we build that bridge? That is with medication. That is with strategies that work for us. But the best part about that is if we build it ourselves, we don't take it for granted. Because we did the work to get to the other side. But when it's not addressed, like you were saying, like if it's not addressed and it's not believed in, we are standing on this side, knowing what to do, and then seeing the other side, but we can't get there. Like we can't, where's the bridge? Help me.
Yes, but one thing I will say is, and also later on in life, I did actually get off of medication for about 11 months.
Right.
So when I was doing the construction stuff, but again, it was back to a structured thing. So when I got off the medication, so when I was saying ADHD is the best and worst things that ever happened to me,
Right.
Really, it's almost more so the medication.
Yeah.
I really think it's the medication that was the best and worst things that ever happened to me, because when I was off the medication, I could function at 80%.
Right.
75%, we'll say.
You could,
So
75% without it.
not at first,
Okay.
but
So-
when I had that structured environment,
Yeah.
I was at my 75%.
Right.
I knew what I could do on the medication. So like, I wouldn't say I wasn't dependent on it, but I knew I could do better medicated, because and especially nowadays with the shortages, I would love to not be on the medication, but it's hard because I know I could be my normal self and
100%.
thrive a lot better on my dialed in medication dosages.
Well, you feel better. I mean, what person doesn't want to put their best foot forward every single day?
Well,
Like, you feel better.
no, I do better. So feel better. I could be on all
So
sorts
for
of
me-
random
so for
drugs.
me-
I could be on some random drugs and feel better.
Right, but for me, if I don't feel good, if my brain is not engaged,
I
then
feel right.
I can't.
Not good.
See,
alcohol,
I have to see. That's the
alcohol makes
difference.
me feel good.
Well, see,
So
to me,
alcohol makes me feel good, but I don't want to be
drinking
drunk.
24 hours a day. Yes. Yeah. So for me, it's I have to feel good first. Must, like 100%. I have to wake up and feel not normal, but I feel like myself. As in, I'm going to be spastic, and I am going to do all these things like crazy because it engages my brain. And if my brain is not engaged, I will do fucking nothing. And that is so going like with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That is, you might as well put me in a prison cell and torture me endlessly. Like I have to be engaged, which is why I think I relate to people so well. Is I just genuinely like people. Like that's like I like being around people because everyone's different in what works. And with ADHD, what works one day might not work the next.
I love people. I hate crowds.
You hate crowds.
I don't like a lot of people. I like
okay.
a couple people.
Mindset by Dave. I know you're watching this. That's exactly you. So that is.
I hate like, New York City is my prison.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
There's too much. I don't know if it's the lights. Too much stimulation.
Well, no.
Whatever
There's no this. There's no lake. There's no green.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Well, they have Central Park, but still, just traffic drives me insane. That's why I live in the sticks.
Yeah, Central Park.
It took more than one medication for me to find out what worked for me. And when it worked great. I felt like a normal person again. I never really felt normal and could function. Everybody's like, oh, why do you have like 5 things going on at one time and you can't finish a task?
Yeah.
All that stuff. But once I finally got medicated properly, the big thing is that one medication that really worked well for me, it made all the difference.
Game changer, basically, is what you're saying in your life. It's a game changer. My thing is, I think ADHD is way more severe than like people want to say that it is. I am not a doctor, psychiatrist, all of you know that, but I will say that I firmly believe ADHD is at the core of allowing a lot of other things to come in. And whether that be depression or bipolar or anything like that, I believe ADHD is at the root of why those other things are allowed to come in if it's not treated properly. Because if our brain does not have the ability to know what to do and do it in the same manner as everyone else, what kind of hell would that be? To be standing on one side, knowing what you can do on the other, seeing it, and not being able to do it. Of course you're going to be depressed.
Yeah.
Like, that's... So, I think it's a massive issue. I also think it's the most powerful advantage you could ever have. And both. I literally believe it's the worst thing in the world and the best thing in the world.
And, that's why I was saying earlier.
Exactly. That's exactly everybody.
I don't know if it's the medication or the diagnosis of ADHD that is the best and worst things ever happened to me, because it really it makes me normal again, but also it sucks because if I don't have it, especially during these times where it's hard to get medication, there's Adderall shortages.
Yeah.
It recently took me 14 stores to find my medication. This past month, 14 stores to find medication.
Can you imagine if...
And it's not just like it's a feeling of defeat, and it's just helplessness, because everybody, like I had pharmacists tell me you'd be better off telling your doctor to switch from medication to something else.
That's such a fucking cop-out. Like, you can't...
I was pissed because so I was doing great on Adderall.
Yeah, that's fine.
For a while, and then Strattera came out, and it was getting bigger, and they suggested because we were changing medication dosage a little bit.
Right.
It wasn't lasting quite as long. Adderall extended release didn't really work for me. It didn't last that long.
Neither me. I couldn't do extended release.
So I had to. Actually, the breaking point was I was on 20 milligrams, so I was at 60 milligrams a day, but I was on 3 20s. So I would do a 20 in the morning, and I'd break at the 10s to do 4 times throughout the day. So it was just spaced out.
Right.
But it really, my wife would understand, like, all right, take it, soon enough. It wasn't lasting very long. So my doctor had said, hey, we do have Strattera, or not, Vyvanse.
Vyvanse. Oh, man.
They had Vyvanse come out. And so they're like, all right, well, it sounded great. They're like, we could do Vyvanse in the morning, and then we would give you some 10 milligram Adderalls to, if it didn't last all day, you could have almost like a booster, just to get you through the rest of the day. I have existing issues, like I don't know how it happened, but I do not have tinnitus, like the ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
Until that medication.
Yeah.
And now
so
I
wait,
can't.
You have ringing in your ears too?
Nonstop.
Shut up. Dude, I have the exact same thing. Like,
people don't get it. I'm like,
it freaks me the fuck out.
I've gotten numb
but
to it.
now that I've toned it,
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. You get used to
but
it. And you tone it out.
Sometimes I can't go to sleep on my side of my head because if I have something against it,
That's exactly right.
amplifies it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That. Oh my gosh, that is so.
So that didn't start until again. I'm not a doctor. I can't blame it on that.
Right. No, it's
but
not that.
Again, and it just I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So when I was on Adderall, I felt normal. I started to feel not normal. I was like, all right, well, I know it's a change of medication. I did it for 6 months, and every month got worse.
Every month got worse?
Every month got worse for me. Just more, the first time is like, all right, it lasted most of the day. Felt a little different, but I was like, all right, different medication, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just started getting, I felt not myself. I was edgy.
You're like anxious? Like anxiety? Like, or was it just like
anxiety, but like short fuse.
Okay, so it makes you mad.
But I'm not a mad person.
No, and by the way, he's not. I am. He is not.
Yeah,
they call me angry little man.
How many times have you seen me like mad?
Twice.
Yes. So
in 12 years, or whatever,
So I normally I don't give a shit enough about to get mad. I'm like, all right, well, you just like piss me off. I don't care. But I was getting edgy and I was saying it was affecting my relationships. That's when I told my doctor. I said, no, get me back on Adderall, and I felt instantly back. So with the medication shortage, I've had pharmacists tell me, you should talk to your doctor, just have them switch to different medication. And I went off on one pharmacist. That was the second one that told me. I was like, you don't understand.
Right.
It's not just
switching
to a medication.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how long it takes to dial in a dosage and
Years.
the correct
Years.
medication? I was like, and so that was probably store number 5 or 6. And so what I did, I said, I had electronic prescriptions. So I got a doctor to print me out one. And I went store to store in 4 different cities. And
that's unbelievable.
The store that actually had it, my 14th store.
You counted them.
Yes, I did.
I can see that.
I did. Because after store 3, I was just like, because I was researching and I was like, all right, there's a shortage. Well, some people say, oh, they had to go 6 or 7 stores. Like, well, let me see how many, 14 stores.
So wrong. That makes me so angry because think about the people, you were medicated when you went to those 14 stores, correct? You had enough left to push through and find it. Whereas, think about the person that had none.
Yes. What was really disheartening was, and it killed me when the pharmacist, like I heard from many pharmacists saying, you should just talk to your doctor about switching medication. I was like, it doesn't just...
It doesn't work like that.
It really doesn't.
That's not how it
you
works.
are a doctor in medicine. Medicine is your niche. I mean, that is what you do for a living. You should know that it's just not a...
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of awareness that needs to be happening with ADHD.
That is why we're doing this.
And so what I want to say to anybody that is struggling the same way I was,
right.
I went to any local and basically within an hour radius. Some people think that if their store doesn't have it, nobody has it. That's why I want to...
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
People need to understand
a very good point.
That people get it from different suppliers.
Any last things on that, by the way?
Basically, just because your local, the place you've been going to doesn't have it, doesn't mean nowhere else has it. If your doctor has you on electronic prescriptions after COVID, that was a big thing. They could print you paper ones, because if you call around, like I was trying to call places and they won't tell you if they have it or not, because it's a narcotic.
Yeah, they can't.
And some places were saying, I can't tell you, but it would be a good idea for you to come here with your prescription.
Right.
So, really, just don't go and change your medication. Don't go. It's not going to be a long-term shortage. Don't go and do a life-altering event like changing medication if something works really well for you, just to get by for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Shop around.
Yeah.
They have it. Somebody has it.
Somebody's got to have this shit. I mean, and we're not drug addicts. This is just like, I mean, that sounds like, oh, we got to get it. Well, no fucking shit. We have to get it. We have to get it.
And that's the bad thing about ADHD.
It's a prosthetic.
People almost like, oh, you're dependent. I'm like, no, well, yes and no.
Are you dependent on the cast for your broken fucking leg?
Yeah,
or your wheelchair?
Exactly.
If you're crippled,
people like say, oh, and that's one of the things that I hate about having ADHD. It's like, oh, you have to have this to. I'm like,
I know.
I'm sorry that my brain doesn't work the way yours works.
Right, and we don't apologize on here. What we say is my brain is different and fucking better than yours. That is, because honestly, what person that has been the same, that has the same brain waves as everybody else, and the same brain operating procedure, ever changed this world for the better?
Yeah.
Not a single person. So that's my opinion on that. You got to be a little bit fucking crazy to be successful. You have to. Like, the ultra most successful people in the world have a goddamn screw loose. So if your brain operates different, it's kind of a positive thing, but no one's gonna fucking tell you that but us. Not just me and him, but everybody.
It's plus and minus.
It is.
Yeah, blessing and a curse.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I sharpen one side. I never pay any attention to the dull side. Because if I start to try and sharpen a dull blade, it might get to somewhat of a decent level. I don't want to be decent. Like, the things that I'm bad at, fuck those things. I sharpen the side that's already sharp so that I can cut through all the other fucking bullshit as hard as possible. My good qualities are really fucking good, and I want to make them even better. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try to look at my awful qualities and raise them up to a somewhat level that doesn't really help. Like, because I think at the very end of the day, ADHD people are really, really bad at the things that don't ultimately matter. And really fucking phenomenal at things that do.
I think what ADHD people have the issue of is trying to be what society wants them to be.
Absolutely.
And so they try too hard on avoiding their condition, and it really hinders them on thriving on what they can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
that's a great way to say that.
you know, I like to please anybody I'm around, and that's one of the things that was hard for me. You know, I almost
You're a people pleaser. That most people with ADHD are, because we're trying to overcompensate for, you know, the lack of normalcy.
Yes, and when I was first diagnosed, I didn't tell hardly anybody. I almost felt kind of ashamed.
Did you really not? I didn't know that.
And I just, at first, I was like, especially when I started with Terri, it was just kind of a, you know, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
And it's almost like a obedience thing. Like, you know, you're just not self-disciplined enough. It's like, no.
That's what everyone sees.
Yeah.
Because all they see is when you're waiting for the correct environment or the medication or whatnot to work, to be able to work. All they see is you waiting to work. And that makes you, quote, lazy. The problem is that once you're able to work, whether it's strategy, whether it's medication, whatever, you will blow past those people so fucking fast. and that's my whole thing, is I do believe that this is an enhancement if we are given the proper tools that work for us as individuals. My tools are, I do need medication. I also need the freedom to operate the way I want to operate. But what I'm really good at is people. I can find people that are so much better than me and love the fact that they're better than me. Mark is one of these people. Okay, I nicknamed him Skills because he has way more than I do in terms of this job. But when we were working together, I had no doubts that he was going to get the fucking job done. Like, it was just handle it. I gave you complete freedom, but you cared so much about it that you created a structure yourself that then trickled down to the next person and the next person and the next person. But it takes an ADHD brain to figure out that, like, I'm bad at technology, but I'm fucking phenomenal with people, and I'm very good at putting people in a position to do well.
Yes. And
that's,
I found that I'm really good at one thing, which is I've learned I'm really good at this. I changed my major from a mechanical engineering. Well, I went over building construction for a little bit, so I had, you know, I had been working for Lobow here, and just, you know, kind of a couple events a month, beer money. And then my dad was even, I talked to my dad about it, and he's like, you work in sports, you have an office in the stadium, you enjoy what you do. If you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life.
yeah.
So I found something that I can really focus on and enjoy
and care about.
And really care about.
But that's the ADHD side.
So that I changed my major.
Yeah.
I graduated. I was full-time as well. And it really wasn't working out. You know, I had somebody telling me what I need to do and how I need to behave. So I actually quit my job on a whim and said I'm going to go freelance. I was like, I know I have the knowledge, and now I get paid a lot of money to do it freelance.
Yeah.
Because there are some individuals that know that I'm really, really, really good at what I do.
Yeah. You're one of the best in the world. I hope you know that. Like, it's so, to put this in perspective, when he worked with us, he got hired away and sent all over the world to do these sporting events. And now he's married, he's got 2 great kids. Like, I rest my fucking case on this. Like, I am so close to being like, I rest my case. ADHD people will figure it out if they are given the motivation and the tools to say, fuck you. That is, because how many times have I said, like, people will consider me an asshole. I'm so proud of that, because at the end of the day, this asshole has the
angry little
big,
man.
Yeah, angry little man. At the end of the day, this asshole has the biggest fucking heart you have ever seen.
Yep.
And that I credit to my empathetic ADHD side of allowing me to care so much about something like that. matters. Like in this world, that matters. You don't die with your degrees and your fucking how you did dishes well or you did this well or whatever. None of that fucking shit matters. What matters is how you relate to people and what you bring to this world that helps them. That is what matters. And I think I bring a fuck ton. I just want everyone else to know that they bring a fuck ton also, because right now they're getting shit on, and that's just not fair.
And also, a big thing is when I was unmedicated, I had just everything. Oh, this is what you know, you're good at this. Like this is the path you need to do, and I was kind of choosing the path of least resistance.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually.
Hard to say mechanical engineering is the path of least resistance, yeah. But I knew I had expensive hobbies and all that. So, but that was math was something I'm good at. I hate doing math. I'm really good at it, but I hated doing it. But after I got properly medicated and realized my potential on doing like even very niche markets, that right now, like my dad said, if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life.
For me, I do disagree with that a little bit, only because I still feel like there are some
you
days.
saw a boss. I do too. She's in there. She's angry probably.
Well, the never working a day in your life thing, I do agree with that at first. The problem is there's such a high burnout rate with ADHD people because we go at stuff so hard when we like it that we burn out. The problem is the people that are guiding the ADHD person need to be able to recognize when they are approaching burnout and say, take some time.
I have no strings attached. I fly out to wherever I'm going to.
Right.
I do I'm in Richmond. I'm in Richmond 2 days tomorrow. I fly there.
Essentially, you're a consultant.
I am.
That's it, which is what I would love to do.
And I am there. I submit my paperwork. I get a lot of money, and then I'm unemployed until the next job. But I have nothing that I have to do. I have nobody. I could just literally not answer my phone or emails for 6 months, and that's fine. And I can pick right back up.
Right. And that's something you've earned.
Yes. Oh, okay.
You see, that is something you have absolutely earned.
But I found, because I did this, and then I did a at-home job that I was working 8 to 5 every day from my shop, doing help desk stuff.
Yeah.
It was pure hell. And I had people that were like, oh, you took a 16-minute break instead of a 15-minute break.
Oh, give
all
me
this stuff.
Seriously?
And they're like,
wait, seriously?
Did you, does your report show how many breaks I didn't take? It was.
That's unbelievable. I didn't know they were like that. So, Mark and I do this frequently. We hang out. It's fun. It's a great time. However, I always ask y'all what you are most proud of at the end of every single Friday when we get together and all that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, if you want to hop on a Zoom call at Fridays out at 5:30, you will meet people from all over the fucking world. We get together every Friday, non-recorded, no episode, at 5:30 p.m. and we just shoot the shit. I ask how your week has been, etc. Like so that people are free to be themselves without any fucking judgment. You can show up drunk. You can.
Clothing optional.
Clothing optional. Only you, Mark. I always ask everybody what they're most proud of, and since you are technically you know what? No, you're not a fucking guest. You're one of my closest friends. This is not going to be any different than what we would normally do. But what are you most proud of? And it has to be a characteristic unique to you. I know you're proud of your kids. I know you're proud of your wife. What are you most proud of within you?
I am proud of myself realizing and not chasing the money and doing something that I love and turning that into a career. Like, I had a 6-figure job literally lined up for me. All I had to do is give them my degree and say, look, here's my degree. Yeah. But I didn't want to do that. And sure, I probably would have been good at it, but I wouldn't have been me. And after I got properly medicated, some people say, oh, you got medicated, you probably could have done great at that group. Like, no, I realized that I was just good at that, but I didn't like that. And I could actually focus on things that I really enjoyed, that maybe I wasn't good at, maybe I wasn't awesome at. But I really enjoyed making a leap and saying, fuck this.
That's a tough leap.
So I worked, 2 to 5 days at a time, and I'm unemployed until the next job.
But that triggers the ADHD brain too. You're smart in that, because what it is you're under pressure to find the next. We're under pressure, we're great.
Well, yeah, because I only have 2 to 5 days to do my job. I don't have a whole year to do my job.
Right, exactly.
I get
deadline.
So much more done on.
100%.
I'm most proud of changing my career for what was comfortable to what I enjoyed.
I could learn from that, actually. The problem is I love both.
Well, and then, no, you don't need to change what you love.
I know.
And if you love, because yes, I was good at what I was planning on being, and I had a great job lined up. Like, I'm probably a dumbass.
No.
We
don't do that here.
Looking back, looking at, like, from outside, I understand what people say, why would you give that up?
Yeah.
But it is because, right now, I am happy what I'm doing. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I could give 120% on what I'm doing, and there's the difference between being good at something and being passionate about something. And until I was really medicated, I really didn't feel like I knew the difference.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is a really good point, actually, for ADHD people.
Because when I was unmedicated, it was just do what you're good at, what you can do. Just, being able to break away from that kind of setup, but I just wouldn't have been myself.
But you recognized it. You recognized that it wasn't you to do certain things, and it was you to do other things.
Yeah.
To me, it's the recognition in yourself to know, like, fuck this, I'm doing this. That ADHD people naturally have, but they have to have the confidence to say it. And they have to have the confidence to say, like you just did, I wasn't myself, but now I am. That is what we are desperately lacking overall as ADHD people, is we're scared to say it.
And which I think sucks. I mean,
it does suck. Yeah. And that's because we shouldn't.
And the fact, because it's even
everyone else gets to say shit.
Yeah.
Why can't we? Why can't we be comfortable in ourselves?
Yeah, and being ADHD is not something that, like, I don't want to talk to the doctor about it. Right. I don't want to talk to my family about it. I don't want to talk to my loved ones about it.
Right.
But you should. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I throw it in people's faces. I'm like, I am the most ADHD motherfucker you will ever meet, and I'm proud of it.
And I didn't really acknowledge ADHD as being a condition that people are okay with until I had met Lobow. Because it was just, everybody saying, oh, you're ADHD, you're ADD. I like, just laugh it off, like, almost like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And then when I met Lobow, he's like, there's something right with me. It's just.
Yeah. Why do you think I hired you?
I thought it was because the dog kept running. You just wanted to shut the dog
okay,
up.
So what happened was, he lived above me, the dog kept running back and forth, so I took him a handle, a crown, and said, please shut the dog up because I'm sleeping and whatnot. And honestly, the next day, I walked outside and he was working on his Jeep. I'm like, okay, so here's a kid that works. Then we start talking, and he's had all these jobs. He's working a job, putting himself through school, to me, that's impressive. I trust the ADHD person more.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, they suck. They absolutely suck.
Oh, you don't have ADHD? Fucking
Yeah.
loser.
That is this podcast. That is this
Yeah.
podcast. It's literally like I'm flipping the roles. Like, oh, you don't have ADHD?
Oh,
Fuck
yeah, you don't have
You
ADHD?
suck.
We're better than you.
Yeah, we are better than you. I do want to say one thing before we close this out. This has been amazing, by the way. But no, one thing I have to say, because I have to do this, because I have waited so long to have a public avenue like this to say, like, what I'm most proud of right now is you.
You really have shaped my life. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you.
Thanks, man.
If it wasn't for my cousin's dog and the shit out of you.
Fucking shitty dog.
How I was saying is how I changed my career, all that.
Yeah.
You were a big part of that. It really was. If you haven't introduced me to the condition of ADHD, ADD, all of that, and saying how it's fine, it's not, it is how we are.
Yeah.
And also hire me to get into something that I really just am passionate about.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for you, fuck, God knows where I'd be. I wouldn't be here with my video board, my lake, my kids, my bombshell of a wife, and I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you.
But it works both ways, and that's where ADHD people thrive. They have hearts that are so much bigger. I've noticed this with every person with it, is they are empathetic naturally because they're trying to overcompensate at first. But if they're not trying to overcompensate, that energy, that heart, and that care has to go somewhere. Why can't helping someone else help you at the same time?
Well,
that's what ADHD people naturally
I don't know,
do.
because I can't. I would rather help somebody else help myself.
But see, what you're not understanding is that when you help someone else, that helps you at the same time.
It does.
And so what happens is we do this, and then the people are saying, you got to take time for yourself. You got to take time for yourself. Okay?
Like
then,
that was time for myself.
Right. That's our power.
We can't fix people, but what we can do is sit with them. Like, we can't tell them what to do, but we can at least sit there.
What is your profession?